Hello.
Hello. Good morning, friends and intuitive ones. What's up? It's a beautiful day in Wisconsin.
It's a lovely day in Jacksonville, Florida. They have a Democratic mayor. And it's a lovely day. It's a lovely day in Colorado Springs. They also have a Democratic mayor. Not only do they have a Democratic mayor, but I've not seen a picture of the man, but apparently he's African American and very liberal. And they kicked out some of their ultra Bible thumping conservative Republican city council people. So America's waking up.
It's getting better. I see the Republicans are all talking about, and in the news, about the Electoral College.
Mm-hmm. What are they going to do to it? Get rid of it?
No, they're
Mm.
talking about how much an advantage Republicans have because of it.
Yeah, I know. We should have killed that sucker years ago when I had friends who were very concerned about it. And they said, if they ever figure this out, it took them about another 15 years to really figure it out. But we'd already figured out that well, look in California, they have congressional districts that have 1 million people in them because of how they've divided it up.
Wow.
And and they won't go past 538. They won't go past the number of representatives. They won't partial it out evenly. So there's a whole lot of work that needs to be done. And the electoral college has always taken away the idea of one man, one vote, or one woman, one vote.
Yeah. Sad state of the country.
Hmm.
uh, it's going to take a lot of Democrats to get rid of that thing. Good morning, spirits.
No, it's just going to take a lot of Democrats and angry independents who realize that the electoral college got us our Supreme Court. So
Yeah, that's all we need is more of our rights taken away by 6 people.
hmm
Come on, keep putting the pressure on Clarence. Come on, Jack, start indicting Ginny. That'll be a big help.
or
It's like
indict Anna.
it's like Santos.
Mm-hmm.
You get a deal, you work a deal. You indict them,
Mm-hmm.
tell them what the goods we got on you. You resign, we'll drop it
Mm-hmm.
down 15 years.
We'll send you back to Brazil with your cross-dressing dress. So you're out of here.
These people. I can't remember his name, but Brian's wondering if the new Chicago mayor is going to be successful.
Yeah, probably. It's not a city that can't be
Uh,
governed, but I haven't lived there for a long time. Um, but it's not a city that's ungovernable.
um, Pegasus, what do you mean by Noel Dumpy quit and Harmer case? Quit working for Giuliani? Just to clarify there. Morning, Crone Zone. Linda.
Hi,
Uh,
hi, Gigi.
oh, I didn't see Laura's too, but Noel.
Finland's in the house. Angla's here.
Finland. Beautiful.
It was 70 degrees at she was in a class I was in yesterday. She said it was 70 degrees or
Nice.
20 on their 20 centigrade.
Oh, continue to work for such a man. That feels just like, when you're in an abusive relationship and you don't know how to get out kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and the money. She needed the money and stayed for the money and never came out. She finally,
Oh, the woman who worked for Rudy?
yeah,
Yeah.
probably got to a breaking point. Okay. A lot of Rudy stuff. Okay. Let me toss a few in Chicago.
Okay, let's see what's happening in my old home where I came from.
I don't know. Do you really need to please some of these unions and police unions and other unions in Chicago?
Oh yeah,
It
they're very organized.
feels like just need to figure out how to please a lot of groups like unions or something
Hmm.
there, and then you're fine.
Hmm. Well, I
Um,
grew, I grew up in the first county south of Chicago, Will County, and I remember all the adults speaking about, when you go up to Chicago, you'd see 8 guys standing around what one guy needed to do to achieve. This was Mayor Daley, old Mayor Daley's days, and they'd say there's eight people standing around that pole that in our county takes 2 people to fix, and he did. He patronage. I guess I'm old enough to remember patronage, but you could really go to someone and say, I want a job, and they would find a group they could fit you into. And as long as they were successful, you were successful. But it's like you said when we talked about why did a lot of the farming areas, the agricultural areas, support the Republicans so strongly in the 80s and 90s. And it's because they saw the Republicans delivering on what farmers wanted, the kind of subsidies and things they wanted. Who's going to vote against their own interest? It's the same thing.
yeah,
It's the same deal.
that's what my dad said. Oh, the Republicans always give us some subsidies, and milk price is better during Republican rule. So why vote against my interest?
Hmm. And it's to some extent that's true until you see how far distorted your interests got, and then
But the rural class is diminishing. There ain't as
I
many
know.
farmers anymore, except for crop farmers. Some
Well,
year
I
we're
get
probably
kind
going to
of a
be out of
mixed.
milk.
I get a
Anyway,
mixed picture. I think he's going to bring in more. This card for me means when it's right side up, it means you're out on your own. When it's upside down, it means he's going to bring in some of the people he needs to bring in. He's going to manage to avoid some tower moments, which is going to be good for him. There's something he's going to be bringing to a sudden and quick end. And this card would say he's not going anywhere quickly. And he comes out looking like the King of Cups, means people are going to feel emotionally better with some stuff changes he makes. So I don't know. It's a yes and a no.
yeah, I
But I
got good. In the end, in my spread, I got him having success.
right.
Strength and courage, Ace of Cups, celebration, abundance, and then the Wheel of Fortune, making changes needed.
Hmm.
So these are all great ending cards. But there is some kind of negotiations he's going to have to do behind the scenes. May
Hmm.
not even know about it with the moon.
Hmm.
Um, leaving the past behind kind of feeling.
Hmm.
Those moon, King of Wands is him here, and then leaving the past behind was. But there is going to be some struggles on the way with contracts. There's going to be some fightings. He's going to be restricted. So he might have to give in to some of these unions or whatnot to what they want to
Hmm.
make everyone happy. Because there's a lot of struggle here in the beginning to try to change what people didn't get in with when Lightfoot was
Well, what I
mayor.
see is his bigger struggle is going to be with downstate. They're going to try to throw more laws that are totally framed towards Chicago. That's the big fight. Chicago's this little clump Well, there's about 11 counties around Chicago that benefit if Chicago benefits. All of downstate sees Chicago as a pain in the ass. So, but some judgment, some new thoughts going to come towards that. This is people being able to finally work it out. The whole foundation won't be laid while he's mayor, but I see it ultimately coming out to the benefit of the whole state. So,
Good. Nothing's easy when it change. There's going to have to be compromise, but he feels like a man that will work with people and do things the best they can. Feels like a good choice to me.
Oh, speaking of, if we're going to talk about Rudy, I'm getting out my clown cards.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Rudy Colludi, Big Trouble Rudy. Rudy lost his lawyer.
Oh, lawyers like to be paid.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that George Santos lost his lawyer too.
Well, they're looking at all these lawyers getting disbarred for carrying the water for these clowns. So
that or not getting paid, one of the two.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Rudy might be looking at pro bono.
And that's when you really regret choosing public service over private life.
Except, wait a minute, isn't he still banned to be a lawyer in New York?
He can't do his own. I mean, he have to. Well, he could. Pro bono means you can speak for yourself, and you can do that without being a lawyer.
Yeah, that's still funny.
I know.
It's a long time coming. There's more coming from Rudy.
Well, I'm going to put these out. I actually had 5 cards just fall across my lap, and they're perfect for this. So.
Oh, Rudy Colludi, he's having oh my God, he's in trouble.
Yeah, he's in big time trouble. My end card was the King of Swords upside down. And then there's Rudy being the fool. And then after that, right now, he's got this woman coming after his ass, which is true. And he can't find a Knight of Swords to ride in to help him. And if the question was if Rudy's in a lot of trouble, he got 5 yeses. And then this is Rudy at the end, the sad squirrel.
Sad squirrel.
Doesn't it look? It looks like Rudy. A little bit.
Susie Buckingham, my daughter works for a huge law firm that has many high-profile clients. They won't touch him either. Beautiful.
Well, I think a lot of law firms are realizing they're getting marked by this stuff. It used to be a time you were the lawyer, you just guy in the suit behind the scenes, but.
Cash Peters pictures yesterday. Trump gets weak legs and falls off a cliff while Jack watches. That feels like it. I've always felt like when he gets indicted, there's some big trouble for him.
The night that they announced the raids, I was in Colorado, and I was at dinner with Debbie Freebird and Sheila, and a friend of mine, and Vivian C. from Puerto Rico, who's a watcher but not a reader, but an incredibly powerful person, and an old friend of mine who's, if she would ever open up, she's opened up, but if she'd ever do it publicly, she's really a good reader. We were all sitting there comparing notes, and it was interesting dinner, interesting night to meet with them.
Cool. Yeah, I've always sensed like when Jack indicts him, there's a major downfall, like health-wise or something. But Rudy's in big trouble. I got a 10 of swords, 8 of swords, and a fool card.
Oh dear.
He's
See, I had swords and the fool out there too, just
he's
falling all over.
he's looking at prison. He's very sad right now,
I,
unloved.
I've never seen him staying alive to get to prison.
Rudy,
Yeah,
I never really tapped into that energy.
I don't tap into it. I'm just sitting there. Why isn't he in prison? And my guides say, because he's not alive.
Yeah,
It's
good
not
point.
like I go looking for it. It's not one of those things I do.
I got the federal government indicting him too
Mm-hmm.
after the fact. Here, it looks like August.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm sure they're going after him in Georgia too, but I have the involvement in my Five of Swords card is always representing January 6th right now. His
Mm-hmm.
involvement in that.
Right.
Then I have the Hierophant, and then I have my Strength card, which is August. So I see him going down for that also. And then there was another question. Oh, Linda posted, does Rudy have info that isn't already known? To the public, yes.
Mm-hmm.
When you get these emails, I was shocked that after all this stuff got rated and went through a special master or whatever, that Barbara looked at all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And supposedly did nothing with it. Yeah, Rudy wasn't a great mayor. So what about the other info? Rudy and emails.
Mm. You know what the E in email means? Evidence. You know,
Good point.
you know,
It was it was posted that that lady had his emails and it supposedly had contacts to Turkey's president,
oh,
emails
he's
from
like CC'd where Trump's writing these people. So she's got a whole lot of Jared emails too.
Garrett, all the corrupt people, emails of what's going on in this crime world or what they're doing.
Excuse me. Okay. I did 5 cards with Life is But a Board Game. And it starts out with the Ace of Cups reversed. And this is about his emails overflowing emotions place. So these guys wrote this thinking they were untouchable. And the yeses on this is supporter of compassionate feelings. That's a yes. The Hermit, which is kind of they should have been more self-aware when they were writing all this stuff. And it's going to show how they all collaborated together. Collaboration avenue. And what the out card is, the Ace of Wands. They're not going to be able to outrun this. This is passion and desire gardens. So what it's telling me is they all thought they were so safe that nobody could ever figure out what they were doing. They supported each other and just said things like whatever came into their heads. That's now going to go to people who can look at it and see it. And it's going to show how, because also in there is Hannity is in there. Hannity's name's in a lot of these emails going
Yeah.
around all this stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a downfall big time for a bunch of people.
Ian, no, Jenna Ellis is on Twitter all the time now.
Mm-hmm.
After she got subpoenaed, she's just railing against the deep state and the Democrats. She's not missing. Yeah, all their criming, they thought they had a way out. Maybe pardons or something with all these other secret info. It could be pardons because I have a magician, a 9 of cups, and a 6 of swords. And it's kind of like they thought they had a way out, that they could do whatever they want. You know,
Mm-hmm.
flies back in. They can create that crime. But there's a female lawyer going to be wrapped up in what Rudy's doing too. It could be that Victoria Tonsing lady.
Mm-hmm.
But our angels and guides are working on correcting all this. You know, this could be part of the reason too, giving her strength to file a lawsuit, then handing over all these emails and whatnot. More evidence, because I got a page of wands, my angelic card, universal love, and then overcoming the battle. So it feels like, you know, that's how things usually work, you know, by giving loving strength to people to actually do it. You know, E.G. Carroll, her, whoever, the whistleblowers, you know, that people
Mm-hmm.
that find the strength to, you know, to share. And she was part of that. So I got the Chariot, King of Wands, and Knight of Cups at the end. So that means that this information is moving forward and taking charge. It does feel like a little bit of FBI in there.
Mm-hmm.
Doing more investigations. Could be raids.
You mean when they finally get rid of all the FBI guys that would lead the raids?
Yeah. But yeah, this is going to lead to more information. All these corrupt people.
Well,
Big help coming through.
hi, Danny Shay. I already give you any.
Mothers of Liberty. Oh my God. Those people.
Mothers of Liberty, who are they?
That's a group of bullies. They're very, very right wing.
So the word mothers at the very beginning is the whole description of them? They're mothers?
Yeah, it's kind of like the libs of TikTok.
Oh.
Very right wing bullies. Okay, I was just see if we have any more Rudy stuff before we move on. I think there was. Okay, look at the starred quick. Okay, we looked at his lawyer movement. Might as well look at 45 within that.
Okay.
Live. Okay. The emails. It was 45. That's 45 beautiful like that. If you're technically not taking 45 down, I'm sensing here, but it leads to more evidence on other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's always great to get more corroborating evidence and put pieces together.
Yeah, at some point, they need to quit getting evidence and start getting indictments.
True, true. It's like the old saying is, if they quit criming, maybe they could finish something.
That's true. How does Trump feel about it? Trump thinks he's okay, that, you know, nothing's going to fall on him. He thinks it's going to go nowhere, that the Knight of Wands can't move forward and announce what happened. He's sitting there like a happy little squirrel, and he's got the King of Pentacles. He thinks I'm still in charge, but his out card tells it all. There's stuff in there that's going to really hurt him. It's going to corroborate things that gives him a whole nother way to look at it. So he feels great about it. He's wrong, but he feels great about it.
Really? That's strange. His lawyers are all leaving.
Hmm.
He must know something's coming because he posted some nonsense the other day.
No, we'll know he knows something's coming if he doesn't post nonsense. All he
Well,
ever posts.
it was a little bit different
Oh,
of
really?
a comment. It's like he knows he's getting indicted. It just,
Hmm.
it wasn't the normal crazy ranting about.
Okay, then you're right. Okay.
I can't remember what it was exactly. Mothers of Liberty Group, of banning books.
Where are we? Where it's not on Rudy's
I was
emails
just
anymore?
reading the comment.
Oh,
Um, Rudy's part of the family.
mm-hmm.
Got the Empress card, coming with the Page of Swords and the complete loss and sadness, the laziness. It's weird. Isn't like, Rudy's part of the family, part of the grift, Strange. And then I had the Hierophant seeking help, King of Cups. Strange. But in the end, though, I got he's relying on his female lawyer, but there's a Ten of Swords coming. The complete disaster here.
Mm-hmm.
Some reason he thinks there's a play with one of his female lawyers. I don't know what the heck that means. I'm confused about this read. He could be delusional here with his thoughts.
If you're reading someone who's delusional, that's what you're going to get.
True.
They're
Hard to pick out what I'm feeling here with that.
Mm-hmm. It's because you're normal.
Yeah, it just feels like he's delusional. He's, it's like, oh, they were one of us, like Boris Epstein question, and everything's fine because he's one of us. He won't turn on me. We got dirt on each other. But he is in that sadness and unloved and grieving mode, though. For some reason, he thinks he's got to play, but it ain't gonna play. It ain't gonna work because he's got the Knight of Swords or the Ten of Swords. All that grief and pain and nightmares coming at him. For some reason, he thinks that Alina Haba or whatever is gonna protect him somehow. I don't know. It ain't gonna work.
Wasn't she involved with for Trump with his E. Jean Carroll trial? Wasn't she one of the lawyers at the table?
I don't think she talked. She may have been at the table,
but she filed the most effective papers. Anything that Tacopino put in there was just an abomination. I'm not saying I don't know if she's an effective lawyer or not. The fact she kept her mouth shut in that S show means that she has a certain level of smarts.
All they seem to do is just go on Fox News and instead of actual lawyering.
Mm-hmm. That's all Trump wants. Okay.
Laura's wondering if Noel's actually got a strong case. Because the only thing I kind of seen people saying on Twitter is like, oh, they got nice pictures together. Does that look a bad, if they got cozy pictures together and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Haba was in the deposition.
Mm-hmm.
Phyllis Minus, she's the one that said, oh, that's not Marla. Or that's not E. Jean. But she's
Mm-hmm.
Trump said that was Marla, but it was actually EJ. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does Noel Dunphy have a case?
Oh, yeah, Brian. As soon as I knew Eugene was going to win right away. Get a redemption.
I think that Dunphy has a case. It may seem intemperate and like, why would you put up with all that stuff? But when she's put on the stand, you'll understand where she was financially and why she kept hanging on. She's the Queen of Swords. That's the second time I've done a question with her in it. She showed up as Queen of Swords. Don't mess with the Queen of Swords. She knows where to stick those things. Right now, they're in the Two of Swords, so there's a lot of toing and froing about how much she can get out of it. A lot of the stuff we think is dynamite information. This is the Six of Wands, and it's not using the tools you have as effectively as you could. But at the end, it comes out that the question answers a yes, but it ends with a lot of illusions and delusions. So a lot of what we think is going to really get Rudy may not, but a lot of what the other side thinks, well, she hung around, she asked for it, and all that crap, that's not going to fly either. The answer is going to come out of another part of the information that's in the lawsuit. But she has a case.
Yeah, I get her winning, coming out as the Queen of Coins. Rudy's going to suffer loss. Knight of Coins may suggest having trouble getting money out of him. But these cases take a long time. And like we said, Rudy's health isn't that great. He could be. Five of Cups doesn't look very healthy.
Yeah.
Um,
She'd probably have a faster shot if he died and she could sue his estate.
So Noel's coming out here earlier as the magician, so I think all her emails and collaborations, everything she kept, is going to be a Ten of Swords moment on Rudy.
Mm-hmm.
She wins. It's going to be her evidence, what she kept and he gave her, is going to be very damaging. She's got the Empress on the backside, and the Hierophant, and the Knight of Swords. The investigations, the depositions. She'll win. She's got great energy around what's the evidence. The evidence is too strong.
Yep.
Believe the women. Especially in these cronies. Horrible people.
The best thing about the best thing about misogynists is they're so prejudiced against how smart women are that they constantly walk into this kind of crap.
Yeah, Celine junkie, selenite junkie. It's been a Ten of Swords throw today. It's coming out every time. Next, Giuliani's in trouble. Okay, I got that one. Boris Epstein.
Oh, Jesus. What a good evening.
Trump lawyer is in trouble. Mr. Politor left. I think he's okay. Epstein is the reason Trump's lawyer Politor left because he blocked legal team from conducting search of what happens to Epstein. There's a little bit more to that, but
Epstein has dual citizenship. I think before they get him, he'll be out of the country.
Oh, really?
They can pull his U.S. passport. They can't pull his foreign passport.
Well, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to look. I forgot about Weisselberg.
Yeah, he's out, but he's not.
Alvin Bragg's is working a play for the financial criminal indictment
Mm-hmm.
wants him to flip. I think that's why he didn't drop the criminal case for all the financial dealings that
Mm-hmm.
Piss James is working on for October. He didn't have the internal people willing to flip on 45 completely. So he's working a deal to, oh, you did perjury, so I'm going to send you back to prison unless you flip. I like it. Okay, Boris Epstein.
It doesn't look good for Boris. He doesn't take advice and he doesn't know which way to go. That's the hermit reversed. He's had chances when he could have done things better. He's screwed that up. He wants to get kind of away and out of this in some way, but he's too tied to it. He was the page of cups. He was the mouthpiece. He was the one out there selling stuff. So at the end of the day, he goes down. He didn't get what he wanted. He didn't get his money or anything else from it.
Yeah. Epstein will be one of the lawyers going to prison.
Mm-hmm. One of the original MAGA making attorneys get attorneys.
Yes. Justice, Tower, and in due time.
Mm-hmm.
He's in big trouble.
Mm-hmm.
He does have some evidence that could help him if he flips. I'm showing he kept stuff with the Seven of Coins, Empress, and Knight of Cups. So he did protect himself with some of the evidence and whatnot with his criming, but most of it has to do with January 6th and prior.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Six of Swords, Wheel of Fortune, and my January 6th cards. So there's some dealings there. It feels like within the administration, whatever you did leading up to January 6th, planning there. Is there any documents here? Yeah. Those coins are all about those documents too, with stealing a document. So trying to protect what 45 took. Yeah. Yeah, he's going down for multiple levels, it looks like. He will be in court. His life will be over the tower. Hi, Boris. Can we look into the future of their children? Laura, you mean 45's kids? Adults? Or what do you mean? I kind of missed what that was.
You mean the people who he gave birth to who have lived long enough to be adults and are still called children, those groups?
Yeah, that group. Just curious. All these lawyers are in big trouble if they Eastman, all of them, they're in big trouble. Okay, we'll switch this.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about that DC police that was tipping off Ontario? Indicted. But he'd get rid of MAGA delete DC police people.
We need to get rid of corrupt ones, period. Whether they're pulling minorities out of cars and beating them up or they're selling out to the Proud Boys. I mean, just get rid of the whole bunch of them. But
yeah, that makes sense, Karen. Everyone was praying 45 would be able to pardon them all. He says the important thing out loud. I'll pardon everyone. When I get elected again, I'm going to look at pardoning those people.
He was supposedly looking at doing that in January and he didn't do it. So I don't think I'd risk my life on him. I don't want to risk my life on him. I want him going away so he's out of my life. Let's see.
Linda Sandoval. I've always seen that man still alive. Just, just my point.
What's your who?
Uh, Miss J. Epps.
Oh,
Because Cass Peters couldn't get him to transition again yesterday.
yep.
I've always seen him taken out by the FBI.
Very quietly, somewhere far away, in a country on the Mediterranean with lots of cliffs. Not too specific.
That's a pretty good take.
Yeah, I see Shane Lamont's going to flip like a pancake. His goal is to save his own butt. He doesn't trust the justice system, period. I mean, or he wouldn't be like he is. He knows a whole lot more that he can bargain with to get himself out of it. That's a magician. Um, he's going to do what's best for him and his own counsel. And here's the Five of Swords, all kinds of fighting with people. So, yeah, he's going to flip like.
Yeah, I got him flipping. I don't know if he's married or whatnot, but so my page of cups, that's all about flipping. It's also about making connections.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I got support from family. I don't know if he's married, but I got a wife coming in and family. It's like you need to do the best thing. You got caught.
Mm-hmm.
Give up the goods. I have Ace of Wands with teamwork. He was foolish and delusional with the Seven of Cups. Six of Swords. He's going to try to make things better. Ask for forgiveness. It does feel like he's gonna, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a lot on all the people around him, and he's gonna. What I'm okay, Addie, quit talking so much. My guide's saying this guy knew how they were not informing the FBI. He was part of the whole loop of hiding all the information and burying all the stuff. And it's not just in this case; it's in other things that have happened in D.C. I've always felt when people started saying, "Why isn't uh, Merrick Garland moving quicker and stuff?" I think when the whole story's written, and I may not live to see it, but they're going to find out how corrupted the FBI became so quickly under Barr, and Merrick Garland has spent 18 months clearing them out. That's why he brought Jack Smith in from Europe. It's the only one he could trust to come in.
Makes sense.
Look at all these people who praised Durham before he got involved with Trump. I mean, really good talking heads saying he was a great guy. I can't imagine what happened to him. Well, if somebody was hiding like that in plain sight, you can imagine what's in there. It's going to be up to the youngins. All you youngins that have the brains to go get law degrees, go get them because there's going to be a whole lot of openings.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, Debo, last Thursday with I was on with Marina. We talked about that with Musk. Yeah, I was getting it. He was kind of in deep with money with Epstein.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's going to be some good to come out of this with Shane. People are going to realize that they don't need to be radicalized. There's going to be some like training and purging, that kind of feeling with the chariot.
Yeah.
Knight of Wands. There's going to be some, like grief about the big lie, that kind of feeling. So it's going to be helpful, I think. Not everyone's going to come out of the dark, but some will. Shane's indictment, treasonous behavior. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
One of his own troop, their troops died. Many injured. He was part of that. Purge them. Purge the corrupt ones. Okay.
I'm going to respond to Ian McGrath. Ronnie Jackson said that 45 is so healthy he could live to be 200 years. I want to smoke what Ronnie Jackson smokes. I mean, you talk about leaving this planet and not knowing where you are.
Oh, Randy Jackson's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's got all his Fruit Loops.
I think he was into his own medicine jar.
Some of his tweets and even what he said in public are just insane.
Well, his feel like they were chemically induced. What happened to Tommy Tuberville? Did he play football before he was a coach? And did his head get hit a whole lot?
You know, he's just deeply racist. I can't believe he coached black men.
Oh, I can. I've been around Southern football teams. Okay. What are we talking about, Eric Prince? I was so happy to see this happen to him.
Not sure if he's in Austria or anything, but I think he's...
No, he's not. He's in the Middle East.
So he's in his home in Dubai or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he can come back to the States because I think we would extradite him.
Well, we have a DOJ's running a thing on him too. I see that he's balancing things, 2 of Pentacles right now. And he doesn't have a good way forward for people to work with. He's got to stay kind of where he is. He can't travel much. That's the 3 of Wands. Right now, today, he's in the 6 of Wands. And he's trying to figure out how to make this work. But what I see is the Ace of Swords reverse, which is justice, and him and the Hangman upside down. So the way I'd put that together is these 2 mean justice is not going to be served in this case, but it's going to keep him out of Austria. And if the Austrian court convicts him in absentia, they can seize all of his European assets because they're part of the EU. 6 of Pentacles, he's kind of waiting it out to see where he can get to, but he's stuck where he is right now. And is his sister involved? I think
I highly doubt.
I think it's highly doubtful.
I think he's a horrible human being.
Yeah. From a whole bunch of horrible human beings. I mean, wasn't their family money made in Amway?
Yeah. Yeah. Just shows his money came from war.
Mm-hmm.
6 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, and 5 of Swords. So his money came from war. And then I have the 6 of Pentacles too. He's trying to figure out how to save his money with his partnerships. But his partnerships are fading. So I got the 3 of Cups, Ace of Cups, and the 5 of Wands. So his celebrations before and what he's done in the past is now waning. Because I got a lot of 5 of Swords, 5 of Wands, 5 of Coins. His empire is going to be going downhill here. He's worried about his money. I think there is some kind of you had a 3 of Wands. How did you read that? Because that's like seeking help or maybe moving.
Mine was reversed, so it means if he's looking for help from overseas, it's not going to come.
Yeah, I got a Magician, 8 of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, but with the 3 of Swords next to it. Future plans and desires are thwarted. Magician feels like the courts are going to finally start catching up to him.
Yeah.
So it just feels like he's in operation mode of his finances, but he's losing since he's caught. It's gonna be a lot harder. It's gonna be a lot harder to do his business. He's got, if he goes somewhere, he could be arrested if there's a warrant out for him and whatnot. So right now, the mode is just how to continue to do business and secure his funds. Because once indicted, you can have your funds seized and all that stuff. I don't see Betsy indicted.
No.
She's just a horrible person. I don't see indictment for her. She stepped on the edge of criminality working for 45. She just pushed her agenda, charter schools and whatnot, and did not help the education system. Okay.
What we got going?
It looked like the Boston Trump position. They paid the pardon. What country? I don't know. Okay. We did that one. No. New reporting today or last night.
Yeah, that was from the Wagner Group, and they're reporting it. No one can substantiate it. No satellite photos or anything are proving that that's true. And there was some reports before, well, when Zelensky left the country, and he's been, in Japan, he's been out courting all these countries that are handing over all these arms. There was a story that to not trust a Russian propaganda machine about what forward movement they may be making now, because they want to put pressure on countries to not see him as successful. Because when he left the country, they were clearly seeing them being driven out of Bakhmut. But the Wagner forces say they're going to hand over Bakhmut to Putin. Well, who knows? I mean, you can get no one in there that can see what's going on.
Yeah.
You want to just see if it's true?
The poor town is destroyed. 80,000 person town is destroyed.
Well, yes.
Just like what was the other town? Mariupol, maybe?
Yeah.
There's another town.
That's where everybody ended up living in a power station that had a super strong foundation or something. And they finally let them. Some people walked out, although that's where they stole a lot of the kids.
It's just so horrible.
I know. Okay, you want to ask about Bakhmut in particular, or an update on the war?
Yeah.
And what do we want to update?
Yeah, there's been a lot of, like you said, there's been a lot of misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
That Prigozhin or whatever is talking about pulling out, losing, and now all of a sudden they're saying they taken Bakhmut.
Because they got money to that guy. That's why. He's the one they used to call the chef.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Is the Wagner Group making headway? Because I got to have a specific yes or no. So that's what I'm reading, Scott.
Yeah. Ukrainian soldiers.
No. What I got is they're out there singing this song so they can appear to be cooperative, but they're not telling the truth. They're speaking as liars, that nothing they're saying is real. They're trying to cover their tracks. They think people are stupid enough to believe this and won't believe their own intuition, and they're on the downside of the wheel of fortune. So the reason they're saying all this is because it's exactly the polar opposite. They're not moving anywhere. They want to get people to cut off resources to the Ukraine before Ukraine, because look at what Ukraine's done without all the military power they could have had. And now they're getting it.
I got the battles getting better.
For Ukraine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my focus. The
Okay.
Ukrainian soldiers. I mean, they're still planning, introspection, trying to figure out the obstacles. But Six of Swords, the battle, and then the Hermit.
Mm-hmm.
So the conflicts are obviously still there. But they're working on getting things better here. And then I have the intelligence is working very well. With the Three of Coins, the Magician, and the King of Cups, I think the intelligence on the war is going very well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have things are getting a lot better. The Sun, Queen of Swords. I do have the Ten of Wands next to it, but things are looking up. There's still stress involved, it's still going on, but it's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're right. I mean, it's misinformation from Prigozhin,
Mm-hmm.
but they could even just, since the poor town's destroyed, they could just be holding the line, but giving up on the city, but still trying to take out the Russian forces.
Yeah, well, Bakhmut is like, for the Ukrainian people, it's like a place they've marked. If they hold it, it's got a lot of psychological effects on them. But they also know that they haven't lied to them. When they lost territory earlier, they said they're here and they're here and they're here. Nobody on the Ukrainian side really lied. I mean, they told them what they knew, as far as I can tell. Um, but wars make liars of us all. So
Yeah. Well, I was reading about the F-16s. It takes minimum of 4 months to train a pilot to fly them.
mm-hmm.
So they really aren't going to be a big game changer in the current war unless it continues.
They're psychologically a big game changer because with the F-16s, they could take Crimea back
Eventually.
eventually.
Yeah, the HIMARS system and the Patriot system to stop all these missiles, because the biggest thing they're all doing is just using up all the missiles, trying to take out Kyiv, and they keep knocking them out, which is a blessing to defenses.
Yes. Okay.
Wondering about, the immigrants, migrants,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, that have been working,
Mm-hmm.
undocumented workers or documented, whatever. They've been leaving, because of laws or pay or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
do you think they can actually hold out, though?
Yes, because I imagine there's some group that's helping them and putting them in places where the crop. I mean, if we're going to have a real food shortage if they don't stop jerks like DeSantis in Florida from doing the crap he's doing, and um, knowing some of the migrant workers and some of the groups that helped them for traditionally for years, um, all the way back to boycotting grapes when I was in high school because of what was going on, Cesar Chavez time. Um, I think there's going to be a group. What I'm hearing is there's going to be a group that's helping support them, helping them get to places, and therefore places that treat them fairly and let them pick the damn fruit are going to have stuff to sell, and we're going to have problems in the markets. Right
Correct.
now, the best fruit we have in Texas is coming out of Mexico. Well, this time of year when that's true too, but we've had just wonderful watermelon, yeah, and it's all coming out of Mexico and being shipped in. So can they hurt them? Oh yeah. And what's going to happen then is a lot of the people that run these huge fruit out. I mean, they're not. There are a lot of small. There are not a lot of small farmers out there doing it, but there's a lot of bigger farmers who can learn how to use them. But I think what migrants are more afraid of is the states that don't do anything, like the group of people that got hit by the car in Florida. That's what I'd be more afraid of if I was a migrant worker. I'd go to a state where if someone does that to me, they might actually get arrested. How many red states?
Yeah, it feels like if they can, either find other work or I just get this sense that they can't sustain living because they need to work, and send money back to the family and that kind of feeling.
But they can get help from
What?
people on this side of the border to survive long enough for the fields to not get picked enough that the farmers realize we're going to lose everything. And as racist as their little hearts are, green still speaks louder than brown and black if it comes down to it.
Right. With Florida,
Except in Florida. Florida's the exception to every rule. Florida's
yeah.
completely insane except for Jacksonville.
In Florida, it feels like there's fear of arrest. So that's a difference of. I remember there was a Mexican man I tried as a hired man when I was farming because all my
Mm-hmm.
American ones quit.
Mm-hmm.
But he couldn't pick up farming that well,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't speak any English. He had his
Mm-hmm.
wife come out and try to translate,
Mm-hmm.
and I politely just told him, you're just not picking it up like I need, and he goes,
Mm-hmm.
I understand, and then he goes, well, my cousin said there's work down in Louisiana, so we're heading there.
Mm-hmm.
There was, I think there was after the hurricane or something, and there was a lot of building going on.
Oh God, yeah, they were all Mm-hmm.
So he said, well, we're going there. So it's like they have contacts all around.
Oh
So they'll
yeah.
find work where they need to find work, but Florida's in trouble until the Satan changes. Florida's going to be in the toilet. Nothing's
Mm-hmm.
going to get built. He's destroying that country, that state. He has zero chance of being presidential.
Oh, and to answer Yogi Bear's question, no, I don't see migrant workers protesting in red states because they don't want to be the first one to die for their cause.
Oh, good. Some people are waking up
Mm-hmm.
when when it starts hitting your own bottom dollar or your family or people. It's like, wait a minute, this is wrong. I mean, you hurt enough people, and he's he's losing billions.
Mm-hmm. Literally losing billions. I mean, the billion he lost from the Disney development, the cost of building it and doing it there, and then the 2,000 six-figure jobs that are not coming to Florida. I mean, Abbott's a jerk of a governor, but even he didn't do that yet. Maybe he has, and we haven't found out about it. But
Oh yeah, I think I did see something about that. NAACP issued a travel warning to Florida.
mhm.
Oh, people
countries,
searching.
countries outside of the U.S. are issuing traveling warnings to going to Florida, saying, "Understand these are how their rules run." So,
When will this Satan be charged for funds?
I'll see if I can find a time card. I wish I had the garden out. It's much better at time than this stuff. But
I think we looked at something before. These funds, these funds, I don't know how that works. When the federal government gives the state money,
mm-hmm.
technically they use it how they see fit.
No, there are guidelines that come in with it.
You know,
There are. Mm-hmm.
then he's using the taxpayer money to travel around the country thinking he's going to be president and world, hiding his money.
I don't see him getting charged with fraud anytime soon. I see it's not going to go well for him, and they're going to be on his case. But
Conflicts. It doesn't look soon.
nope, they got
But
too many other people they have to get out that could kill us. So
I don't know if he's got a good lawyer on his side or whatever, but he does have protection. So the Empress, Queen of Swords, and the Conflicts card, betrayal, his lies and deceit. So I don't know if it's a paper trail or what, or someone in his office. It may be how they word the money, where it went. Like how they earmark it. So there's some kind of protection within his office. It feels like to me. There is loss of money in the funding.
mm-hmm.
Truth will come out. So I got how they budget. There is loss in there, and there is some truth coming out to that with Ace of Swords. So eventually there may be some oversight of how they budgeted their money. But I have great cards in the end. The Magician, Six of Swords, and Knight of Wands.
The problem is that when you do something and you're in a governmental position, they have to prove that you actually went in and ordered the fraud. They can't just say you were governor and somebody screwed up. But there are rules and things that come in with it. I don't know which federal funds you're talking about, because he totally interrupted the funding for the COVID vaccinations. And after his wealthy donors, after their areas of Florida just got flooded with COVID medicine, you couldn't get it anywhere else.
Yeah, there's money missing from the donations of the hurricane.
Oh, that's his wife. They might have a better shot at that one because she's not a governmental official. The problem is, if you have a governmental official, you have to prove they use their position specifically. That's when you have to find a whistleblower.
Well, there was federal funds given by the Biden administration too, and our friends here are saying they ain't getting any help.
Mm-hmm. Well, because Matt Gaetz got the help. Don't you know Matt got some money from that? That's why they want to go cover. Well, If you got money and it maybe wasn't used absolutely correctly, you're okay. Just like if you stole from unemployment, you're okay. What?
And it was like Rick Scott. He built billions, and he's a senator.
The largest fraud case from Medicare was his, and yeah, and then they elected him senator.
We're in the
Florida,
wrong business.
Texas proud.
We're in the wrong business.
I know.
Just get elected to be a senator, and your life's golden. You can just be a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Get all kinds of donations and supposedly earn $200K a year, but have your net worth go up by the millions.
Mm-hmm. But you spend your whole life looking over your shoulder. That's not good juju. That's not good energy. Okay, we're going to do Weisselberg. Will he confess at the last minute?
So so Bragg is threatening to charge him with perjury. Looking into the criminal case of what they want to do on 45 for his actions and the money fraud and whatnot. So is this going to help?
Yep.
Get him to flip the threat of going back to prison.
Okay. This is the cards he has in the past about this. He didn't use good judgment.
Upside
and he
down.
ended up thrown into jail. But now, right now, he's already talking to him. He's already getting in the boat with him. He's going to sell out the family company. And then so that he doesn't end up being the hangman again. So I think he's flipping right now as we speak.
Oh, I'm getting protection over family.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're trying to use his kids too.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 6 of Cups. It's all about the kids, because his children were within the family, the Trump family.
Mm-hmm.
4 of Wands, you're the Trump family. 10 of Cups family. I think they're also gonna use, well, we're gonna charge your kids too.
Right.
We want the Trump org. We want 45 to go down for his crimes, but we need you to flip. And I do have looking better. Mm-hmm. Knight of Cups can be flipping, using the kids as past mistakes. Seeking forgiveness. Knight of Cups is all about flipping. Mm-hmm. And then, the organization of money, Queen of Coins. Being inspired with the Knight of Wands. And then the Hermit is contemplating it yet, but doing the right thing. It feels like he's doing the right thing. So Knight of Wands is good energy, positive. The organization of money and how they did it with the Queen of Coins and thinking about it. But it looks like he will flip.
Yep.
He's not going back to prison. When you have the goods on others, especially your family, okay, if you're not going to talk, we're going to charge you with perjury. We're going to charge your kids for tax evasion, whatever, on the gifts they received too. Use the leverage. I seen that article that Bragg was going to use to perjure. The thought that came in my head was like, that's evil. Mm-hmm. That's an evil tactic. It's like they're playing the long game to secure the prosecutions. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, you're going to go to prison for 5 months and pay $2 million. Okay. See how you like Rikers. Now he got out, see freedom, think he's all right. Oh, we think you perjured. We're going to prosecute you for perjury unless They're trying to break that trust of the Trump org. They're playing the long game, and I like it.
Mhm.
Like, ooh, that's evil.
Angela, who lives in Finland, said that if Eric Prince is indicted in Austria, Interpol's after him. Any country Interpol can go into, they can get him on a European warrant. And I trust Angela because she used to work in that kind of world in Finland. That's why her English is so good. And she also said the last news they have in Europe is Ukrainian ground forces commander. Ukraine controls insignificant. Ukraine controls. This is what their propaganda. Insignificant part of Bakhmut, but it's advancing on all sides, so it's not done. Okay.
I know. I'll go back to that. I know this is crazy. Why would wealthy people want to run for office?
So that they can help their friends.
Supposedly Ron Johnson is spent $8 million of his own money and still hasn't paid himself back, supposedly. Why? It makes no sense.
Well, Mike Pence's brother is up to his eyeball with Russian investments, or was when he got selected by the one who went to jail, who really did, starts with an M, that was Trump's campaign manager for a while. He selected him because they knew they had Mike Pence because of his wealthy brother's influences in Russia. And so, I mean,
Manafort
knew. That's why the plane quote broke down in Indianapolis, so that Trump got to spend another day with Mike Pence, and that made him vice president. And I was like, why would the governor of Indiana be a good choice, except that he's an asshole? Excuse my language. It's Sunday morning and everything. But they ended up that it's Mike Pence's older brother was super invested in Russian influenced countries and in Russia. And so when Hillary wasn't kidding, when it all goes back to Russia, it all goes back to Russia. And so Mike was there to kind of support whatever Trump did because he already had an alliance towards the Russians. It's like
I was also getting it had to do with the religious vote too, the evangelical.
They didn't tell the evangelicals, I'm here because I'm protecting my brother's fortune. Because if you think,
I just seen a useful idiot.
Yeah.
Because Mike can be manipulated
and
bring in the evangelical vote because he's all this supposed, It was a master plan. He was just a perfect person.
Right. So there's a whole lot of them that are tied up that way. It's like, not to go into ancient history, but the Bush family was heavily invested in opening up China and helping it become really wealthy because they have a lot of family money in Chinese companies. So that's my conspiracy theory of the day, kids.
Yeah. I just tossed 2 cards on why. Yeah, it just seems there's opportunities to make more money somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Help their people, help their family.
Mm-hmm.
Prosperity. Eventually they'll get more money with the Knight of Coins for their family, their friends. They just know somehow they can make more money than not being in politics.
Mm-hmm.
God. Sickening.
Okay.
Where was that? Oh, Steve Bannon? Was that what?
Yeah.
Well, Steve Bannon
finally go to jail, like in 60 days.
When the heck? He's supposed to have another hearing coming up.
On June 2nd.
Okay. According to Carol, he did find an attorney because he wasn't paying the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't believe these delays. That Trump judge gave him a heck of a deal for the appeal.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard about the appeal, most likely. Oh yeah, filed the appeal finally. Got a hearing about the appeal. Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
DOJ has.
I'm going to use my housewife's deck because he says you're misogynist, and that's what he thinks we ought to dress like. All the women in this deck.
Oh, he's got that trial coming up too. So.
Oh, yay! Oh, yay! I got the Queen of Pentacles right side up. I got the Ten of Cups right side up, which means yes, yes. I got the Ace of Swords. And it's weighted too because it's in the middle. That's justice coming for him. And he's tried to delay, but he's not going to be allowed to delay it much into the summer. And then, the Knight of Pentacles goes away.
There does seem to be a little bit of a delay. My strength card August comes out again, but he goes to prison.
Yeah, I did this summer. I didn't do because July is a horrible time to get anything done in the justice system. It's just
it feels like there is the Knight of Coins. Here's the judge or the lawyer, and there is some kind of conflict, like they work out some kind of deal or delay with the Knight of Coins. But yeah, he does go to prison. There's a death card to his situations. Strength August, prison right here. Eventually it'll happen, but it feels like there might be one more delay for some reason. Like they work out a deal or...
No, he's going to fake illness.
Something. There is some
he's
kind of...
He's going to come up with some... I had to go to the ER because my heart was fluttering.
There's
they have hospitals and jails.
So there's a teamwork with the court and some kind of proposal.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually it'll come to all these delays will be an end. He will be in prison. He's got the trial of the estate, for stealing the money.
Mm-hmm.
So this is for the contempt. And
you can be in jail and go out for other cases.
Right. But yeah. I mean, he'd be in prison right now if it wasn't for that Trump judge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, you can stay out while you appeal. Oh, I don't have a lawyer, so you can wait more.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, 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 blah. He should have been in prison a long time ago. But yeah, the We Build the Wall Fund trial. Yeah, that's coming.
I think he's been holding out till they wait for a change in prison uniform so you can wear two tops at the same time.
Okay. Alex Jones ever going to have to pay up?
Okay.
Suppose he owes billions or whatever. Filed bankruptcy.
He filed some bullshit tweet about how he was walking around parts of Texas he'd been afraid to go into, and he went into one of the more liberal areas of Austin. Well, okay, there's lots of liberal areas in Austin. Went in a restaurant. Everyone in the restaurant came up to him and told him how he'd been so mistreated in the courts. My son lives in Austin. I've been in Austin. There's no way in hell that happened, even if he was in the more conservative parts of Austin. I wouldn't even believe it if he went into a high-priced restaurant in the Park Cities, which is right by me, and they're a very conservative part of the town. People, even conservatives, don't want to be near that little shyster. Okay, let's see if they're going to get their money from him. I'm going to use my Housewives Tarot again because that's what he thinks women ought to look like, the women in this cards, in their frilly little 1950s dresses. Oh, yes. Woohoo! He's going to lose a lot of money. That's the Ace of Pentacles upside down. But I love this. This is the Eight of Swords. It's going to totally destroy him because, and it's a jail of his own making. I love this Eight of Swords. They're appetizer skewers in olives wrapped.
I like that.
And this is right now. Justice is getting his butt. And he's going to try every trick he can to avoid paying it. This Seven of Wands, it's like the Seven of Wands when you see it in our card, but what it is you have all the right implements, but you're not, I mean, you've got implements, but they're not the right ones for cleaning the toilet. Who cleans the toilet with their toothbrush? And then the out card is he thinks it's not going to happen because he has absolutely no intuitive sense. But that's a big fat yes, especially this one.
Yeah, balance it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, eventually, yes. King of Coins, loss of all money, and change of fortune.
Yep.
The heartbreak. This is like my Three of Swords, Major Arcana. This is losing everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's a battle yet. The families, but the energy of the families getting paid is on their side. But there's still a battle yet to be had with the Five of Swords. There's still some conflicts how to get paid. But I don't, there might have to be more. When someone's not paying you, you go back to court to get it seized or something or like that.
Well, okay. When you're in that kind of a suit, if your lawyers are halfway smart, they've already hired the private investigators to find out all of where his funds were when he started. And then they follow the money, they follow where it goes. And they can get a reason. If you have a court order saying you owe me this money, and that means you no longer have control of this money, that's not a long delayed court order thing. They order them to release the money to you to a fund that the court dispenses to you. So they're not like the legal paper doesn't immediately give it to the family, but it gives it through the court. And if you didn't notice, the judge in charge of that court wasn't terribly sympathetic to Alex Jones. So that money will move through as fast as it can. The only place you get caught up in that is if the judge isn't in your favor and you're getting the money.
Yeah, I got the chariot here, so it's like going after it.
Mm-hmm.
There's women or possibly investigators, whatever, but they're going after it and taking charge of it. So it's like they're going to have to force it out of them or, seize it somehow.
Well, they can seize it if they know where it is and they can prove we know you have this money and the banks have to hand it over, even if it's offshore. They can get it. Because those banks don't want to super piss off foreign governments that wire money in and out of there.
I mean, he's trying the bankruptcy route or whatever, but when you go to bankruptcy court and like, well, you have these debts, you're going to have to pay it.
Oh, there's certain kinds of legal, students can't go to bankruptcy court to get rid of their student debts. There's debts that are limited from being in the bankruptcy court.
Right.
So they won't accept that. And he can have buried it with his parents. They'll go to the parents' accounts and say, we saw it was wired from here to here. People don't understand that electronically moving money or moving money anyway, unless it's in a big suitcase under your bed. And there's no way he has all that money under his bed. There's just too many ways to get them.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. It's just unfortunate. These grifters, they move it to LLCs or whatever.
I've been in a bank when they came looking for assets for a drug dealer in West Texas, and he'd hid a lot of his assets in cashier's checks. It was a long, blown out stream, but anyway, the FBI finally showed up, and we had to go in the vault and dig out all of the documents about their checks, and 5 of them were missing. So we never found out in the bank who got in there and changed it. But they can come get it, guys. It's not an undoable thing.
Yeah, unfortunately, it takes time. I know I once filed small claims on an employee that took a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
money from me.
Mm-hmm.
I won the suit, but I could never get any funds out of him because he kept moving jobs. So by the time I file
Mm-hmm.
a cease of, employment, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
he was already in another job. So I just gave up.
I had a friend who had a guy replace some Spanish tile in her house, and he had really good, references and stuff. But she started looking at his work the first day he was there, and she thought, well, maybe it'll get better. But just in case, she went out and got the VIN number off of his truck. And when he didn't deliver what he was supposed to deliver, and it actually, in essence, stolen money from her, she went to small claims court, and she had his VIN number. And he came to her 2 years later, and he said, I can't sell my truck. You own my truck. And she said, that's right. I own your truck.
Beautiful. This Satan. Nasty. All right. We're at 1:30.
Okay.
Let's throw out some inspiration cards and let people.
Have a Sunday.
Yeah,
Because
we could go. We could go
Samantha's
on for
pretty
5.
out.
We could probably go on for 5 hours. All the questions and
Mm-hmm.
inspiration. But thank you, everyone, so much for joining us. It's been a blast.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What do the spirits want to know today?
We're going to raise everybody's vibration after playing footsie with the swamp.
Let's do that. Okay, this card. Aw. Okay.
What you got?
So I grabbed 2 from 2 different decks.
Mm-hmm.
So my extraterrestrial oracle. I got love and healing from the universe, from the Palladians, and then I have visualized simpler times, childhood memories.
Cool.
So it's when we struggle, we have issues. Use our mind, use our visualization. Remember good times. When things go down, remember the good times.
Mm-hmm.
You can get through things. Fond memories. It's like when you're trying to visualize abundance or visualize making more money. You don't want to think of, your car being totaled or something like that. You want to visualize things getting better. So just always look back to better times when you're seeking love, or a time when you did have abundance of love or self-love. That's always the way it works. So I got 6 of coins and 10 of coins in this angelic deck.
Okay.
Acts of kindness. Material needs get filled in unexpected ways. By giving and receiving, you can receive abundance, which is 10 of Ariel. That's abundance. Being grateful. Financial success comes from having a rich and rewarding family life. That's mine.
Okay. Well, I got 2. I pulled 2 also. And I pulled this one. And it said, feeling fear is a call for love. And whenever your ego gets loud and obnoxious, It's because you're on the cusp of a miracle. The ego is the inner voice that always wants to make you doubt your own talents. It's a voice that will negatively comment on your image, things sent around you, or the world around you. In order to overcome the voice of the ego, it's important to recognize the purpose. It's the voice of fear, and it's time for you to give you a choice. So, whenever you hear that voice made in your own head telling you that everything could go wrong, it's all going to blow up tomorrow, take your destiny back and put it in your own hands. Today, the universe is saying to you not to let the insecurities and limitations of your ego from your past take you forward. Grab the world with love. It's with love that you can share and love that you can find for yourself. This is a raising of your vibration. That's what it's all about. I choose to listen to my inner voice of love. That's a whole lot of what we read today was fear based. Yes. And then I decided to go to my this deck. It's called Crystal Reading Cards. They're beautiful cards. They have incredible illustrations of the different kinds of wood. And petrified wood stands for strong grounding stone, centering in the crystal, assists in connecting you to the tree spirits to receive the deep wisdom and healing of our ancestor, awakens that deep knowledge that lies within your blood and your bones from your ancestry, assists you in realizing that the old ancestral karma is being brought down by your new bloodline. So that's petrified wood. And so what we need to do is tie into the messages from our ancestors that are telling us to not listen to our current life ego and to ground ourselves. And we are going to move ahead.
Yeah, that's what makes a good life. Living in gratitude, showing compassion for others, love your family, get rid of those that are in your soul family.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about that negativity. Bless you, Linda. Thank you for the
Yes.
super sticker.
Yes.
Thumbs up,
Appreciate it.
everyone. Yay.
Okay, one more thing. You got anything else going on this week?
Um, do I have someone? I keep forgetting. I've been scheduling on and off to hang out with some
Good.
peeps on
Good.
Thursday, but I got my Tuesdays always.
Yes.
The other
Scott's
week, the
a
other week
boat
I had
man.
to cancel. Yep, I got my boat. Went out yesterday. I'm heading back out to do some fishing and cruising today again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but every Tuesday, hanging out with Allison and Valerie. Every Tuesday night we do, and you have your Tuesday afternoon. You always do, right?
I'm not doing this Tuesday. I have a surgical procedure. It's nothing big, but I'm not sure how I'm going to be feeling. So I'm not doing this Tuesday. I'm probably going to move it to Wednesday. But right now, I've reopened. I'm doing like I do 12-month readings. I've done a 12-month reading for you, Scott. The same
Mhm.
way I do 12-month readings, I'm going to be doing 6 months readings, which is from July to December. So it's a way for you to kind of catch up, see what's going to happen in the next 6 months.
Hey,
And
speaking of that,
Scott writes his stuff down, so
I
he
know.
knows.
Speaking of that, I got to go back and your last 12-month reading.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing the one you did in 2022 for me. We ended up doing it late in January,
Right.
and every single thing you gave me every month came true at the end of
Mm-hmm.
each month.
Well,
Everything happened at the end of each month when you did my reading for me. Just your cards came up and it's like, oh, that happened.
mm-hmm.
That happened. So yeah,
That's why I do them because I found out they work.
there's my list from 2022. I gotta,
Mm-hmm.
so I gotta, since we're in May already, I gotta see what happened and see if these came through. So we did this one on time, but the other one was like the 23rd of January or something.
Yeah.
And
So I'll be
everything
doing
started popping the way it was supposed to. It was crazy. It was good.
so I'll be doing that starting now And if you start now, you actually get 7 months because I throw June in. But you can go to my website, www.crystaldirections.com, and book that. And I am feeling so much better that I'm back to building grids. I finished 3 this weekend. They're going in the mail tomorrow morning. Um, and one of them I had mailed to her in February, and the post office ran a truck over it. I'm not kidding you. When you saw this, it was completely smashed. So I had to rebuild that grid. And then I got my chest infection. And when I'm sick, I can't build grids. Grids take more out of me than reading. But so if you want to look, if you go to my website, you can see all the stuffs I do. But if you want a 6-month reading, now is the time because I and
Oh, do you recommend recharging your grids every once in a while?
yes, if it depends on how you deal with it, but yes, especially if you've moved it or if your set of intentions that are tied to your grid have seriously changed. If like the position you're like, if when you got the grid you were working and you had a lot of work elements in it, and now you're retiring. I got a call about this week from a woman, and I told her to wait till Mercury was direct and to reset it up to with the goals she has for. And in essence, most of her goals were for adjusting to retirement, which I know people think is, oh, I can't wait till I retire. Well, when you retire, all of a sudden there's all these days, and what do I do with them? And, if you're in this community, there's a whole lot of politicians on the ground in your state. 2024 is about to happen. If you can get into who's running, and there's a lot of primaries right now, find out who's running in your state. If someone catches your fancy, get to know them and then decide if you want to work with them. But we really need every Democrat on the ground. That's how they won Jacksonville, Florida. They found
Oh,
everyone on the ground that was interested in the woman who ran, and all these other people showed up to run. And if you're interested in candidates but you don't want to kind of call their office or talk to people, uh, apply to a website called Ballotpedia. They put up all the time who's running where, and they have spaces within their website where they can tell you who's running where. You can put in your where you're registered to vote by your address, and they'll tell you all of the candidates and elected officials in your area. So there's no reason for you to not be able to find it out.
yeah, it
So
looks
that
like a lot of people have a career
mhm.
near retirement and then become a politician.
That's the other thing. There is a group called Run for Something, and
Yeah,
it's if you don't like the way the system is, run for it, and um, find out what it takes to run for it. And a lot of younger people are in it and are going into their city government, their county government, close in, so they don't have to like relocate, maybe give up their jobs. But um, you can do that, and they have meetings with people saying, "What's it really like?" I've been in a couple of them where I talk to people about the amount of time commitment they're going to have if they really want to campaign from the ground. If they and that's and with the new AI and all the fear people are going to have about that, that's going to be the best way to know who your candidate is to meet them face to face. I've always felt like that, but as a child, I lived with a lot of privilege, and my parents had politicians to our house. When Charles Percy, was senator of Illinois when I was in late high school, early college, he used to call my mother because she was a big fundraiser. She was a Republican, but and obviously I fell very far from the tree. But um, I used to pick the phone up and I'd go, "Mom, it's Chuck," so he could hear it on the phone. But there's a lot of stuff you can do. And I always felt like you'd meet these people and you could tell who was genuine. You'd go to some rallies when rallies really meant something before Trump, and you could get a whole sense of the person. So if you're really bored and looking for something to do, there's people who really need help, and it'll make your Sunday mornings brighter when we have better things to say,
yeah,
like
I
we
know,
won
right?
Jacksonville and we won Colorado Springs. Oh, thank you. It's okay, Celtic Seer. I know what it is, and I know where it's going. I'm fine. And I did not do it when Mercury was direct in retrograde because I just told him, "What's the first date you have past this point?"
I guess
It's,
that lady that won in Jacksonville, she was well known too, which helped.
yeah, but she was well known as a newscaster, but then she left newscasting to go run a cancer group because of a friend of hers. And she ended up aligning all the cancer groups so that they were all kind of coordinated. This group does this and this group does that. She did a great job of getting that all organized, no one ever had before. But that's the first time in 30 years they've had a mayor from there. So it gives me hope for the state I live in. I know people are pissed as hell here. So,
It's actually good that at least she wasn't like a Carrie Lake.
oh, Carrie Lake's in it for her own self. I mean,
Yeah, we could tell that, but she kind of the same path, except nothing for cancer, of course. But
hmm and Nanette, yes, make sure your kids and your grandkids, if your grandkids are old enough to vote, uh, know about what's going on around them because they're our real future. They're our real hope to get out of where we are. And so everybody, I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I hope your life goes forward swimmingly and
anyway,
swimmingly. It's summer. It's summer. It's time to be in that water.
it's not quite warm enough.
Oh, that's right. You live in a. It's always warm enough here. I mean, there's like 3 weeks a year that you can't really
I
get
seen
in.
a few brave people out with their ski doos on the lake yesterday.
Ugh.
It was mid 70s. You just get a little wet and you adjust, but they were having fun.
Yeah, well, I remember jumping in sort of what felt like frozen lakes as a kid up in Michigan in June when you could still see your breath in the morning when you got out of your camp.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why parents send their kids to camp to toughen them up.
I won't. We won't be doing it until it's consistent 80s and the water temperature gets up to 60, 70.
Ooh, I'd freeze in that. Anyway, uh, take care. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next Sunday, I guess, unless Scott gets too enamored of his boat.
No, I'll do the Sunday show.
Thank
It's all good. I don't want to get
you.
out there too early. The fish only bite morning and afternoon, so
Is it morning? And where I used to fish, it was morning and sundown
yeah.
when the bugs come out. That was my least favorite thing about it. That's when the bugs come out.
So you either got to get up real early
Uh-huh.
because I had my one bite yesterday, and that was towards 4 or 5 o'clock there before I headed out
Mm-hmm.
or left. But it was the only bite. So it's not really. They're not really biting huge yet until they
Yeah,
change the
well,
weather. But
they're still on the bottom waiting for it to get warm enough.
yep, yep. So thank you all. Blessings. Thank you again, Nancy. It's always a joy.
Bye.